From Software just released some details for their new game called Armored Core 6: Fires of Rubicon. If you aren't familiar with the Armored Core franchise, it's about cores that are armored, kind of like how Dark Souls is about souls that are dark, or how Sekiro is about shadows that die twice. In the first line of the trailer, we get some important information.
We're close to Rubicon.
The Rubicon is a shallow river in northeastern Italy. You might recognize it from that time Caesar said the die is cast. Now that Caesar guy was a guy, wasn't he? I assume the planet is called Rubicon, because it would be weird to say that you are close to a shallow river in northeastern Italy while you are in space. The next line has some absolutely insane ramifications.
Wake the dog up.
At first you might think he is referring to a dog, but it's probably this rocket and its contents. It doesn't look like a core that is armored. You see, the Armored Core games tend to take place in entirely different continuities, so I assume this line,
Wake the dog up,
is to tell us that in this new Armored Core universe, they have discovered some kind of dog-based technology to power their spacecraft. I assume that maybe they are in some kind of hamster wheel contraption, or maybe they use dog brains to power the rocket. We are then given an overview of the planet. The dog rocket separates and reveals a core that is armored. There is some really cool gameplay footage, showcasing massive environments. There is a quick clip of an armored core using some kind of close-range weapon. The game director said in an interview that they focused on melee weapons that you can quickly switch to in combat once you close the distance on an enemy. So I guess it's kind of like reverse Bloodborne. There is also this clip where an armored core with junk in the trunk runs over pedestrians, which confirms that DUIs are in the game. A twist in the narrative is quickly revealed.
one of the infamous handler Walter's hounds. Interesting. You ready to climb the wall?
Walter was the one who woke the dog up earlier.
Handler Walter verified. Activating cerebral coral control device.
So this pretty much confirms that we play as a dog inside of a core that is armored. Another character mentions someone with the call sign Raven, so we might get to play as pigeons as well. There is this shot of what looks like a boss fight. Yeah, I know what everyone's thinking. He is dodging like in Dark Souls. Does that mean this is the Dark Souls of armored dog-based core games? I can already see all the reviews comparing it to Dark Souls. Personally, I think it seems like the persona of Elden Ring. Another line asks us why we are hiding behind another's call sign.
Why hide behind another's call sign?
This is probably the Raven mentioned earlier, which I think implies that we play as a dog inside of a core that is armored that is also pretending to be a pigeon. The last line lends itself to this interpretation.
Let's see how far they can fly. On borrowed wings.
Because in order for a dog inside of a core that is armored to pretend to be a pigeon inside of a core that is armored, they would need to borrow wings. From information released in articles and interviews, we know that various factions on Rubicon are fighting over a material called coral, which I guess is kind of like unobtainium, but if it was obtainable. From Software themselves admit that the story isn't the main focus of the game. They have directed a lot of attention towards meaningful mech customization and combat. For example, when you take your mech to Los Santos Customs, the various upgrades you can apply will be more than just stat boosts, potentially altering things such as how your mech moves, as was illustrated by the thick DUI mech. It's also been confirmed that there isn't really a human customization element, so if you were looking forward to buying and swapping out organs, that's not the focus of this game. The game is also mission focused and does not have an open world, which is actually pretty cool, because it will allow them to construct some massive set pieces, just like the ones showcased in the trailer. It will also have multiple endings, with different paths opening up based on your actions. This will be a great fit for the mission-based gameplay, as the alternate endings will most likely not require you to replay the entire game. The game will also have a stagger mechanic, which will probably be similar to what is in Sekiro or possibly Elden Ring. This could be quite fun when combined with their focus on a mix between melee and ranged combat. combat. I know people are going to find the Dark Souls comparisons annoying, but I mean, this game has dodging and close range combat, so buckle up. Now ordinarily I could stretch this video out to like 30 minutes and go over the trailer frame by frame, but I've pretty much covered the majority of the new information. So instead, I thought I would share some other mech games with you that could tide you over until the release of Armored Core 6. Even though it's been a while since the previous Armored Core games, they are absolutely still worth playing and you can have a lot of fun with them. However, they can be quite difficult to play for people who only have modern systems. Of course, there is a way to overcome that, but I have no idea to what extent I can talk about that on YouTube. Brigador is a really great mech game. It features innovative DUI mechanics just like Armored Core 6. There are a massive amount of mechs that you can play as in it, and they all behave very differently in terms of how they move and how they shoot. You can make some absolutely cooked combinations if you want to. There is a campaign mode, as well as a cool random mission mode that can provide you with a lot of replayability. Mech Warrior 5 is much more of a simulationist take on the genre. The mechs feel like absolutely hulking machines and the cockpit view is just very cool. There are a lot of mods for the game that add so much content on top of it. The game Battletech belongs to the same franchise as Mech Warrior 5. However, it's a tactical take on the setting, featuring a solid amount of mech customization that really plays into the turn-based gameplay. Into the Breach by the creators of FTL is an exceptional tactics game. Each engagement plays out like a puzzle, and it is extremely satisfying trying to plan out the perfect combination of moves that allow you to complete the level in the safest manner possible. If you enjoyed this video, you should subscribe to my channel. It would look great on your resume.